Fisher, hard hit. That'll get into left field. Coming home is Devine. The 0-2 right down the middle, strike three. 10 of the last 11 batters have struck out. This is taken into the gap between shortstop and third base. From Ford Harris Park in Urbana, Illinois, it's Tigers softball on the Tigers Media Network. Tonight, our first presentation of Urbana Girls Summer Softball Summer League action as the Tigers Warner 16 and under team gets set to host the Warriors of St. Joseph. Hello, everybody. I'm Joey Wright on this warm and muggy June evening. Slight chance of rain in the forecast, but hopeful that we can get this one in. First batter of the game for St. Joseph is Haley Burt, the pitcher for Urbana. Ava Lemming, ball one to Haley Burt. Second pitch, roped foul down the third base line, out of play. Tigers looking to score a win here. Still lots of softball left in the season for these girls, as ball two makes it a 2-1 count. But on this beautiful night for softball, you'd like to get out there and score a win. On deck for St. Joseph is Olivia Baltzel, ball three. So a 3-1 count to Burt. Anissa Martinez is the catcher for Urbana. This is grounded back to the rubber, and safe is Haley Burt. Lemming came off the mound. Couldn't quite make the play. That was essentially a swinging bunt from Burt, and she's aboard at first. Safely bringing in Olivia Baltzel, the second batter of the game for St. Joe. No outs, top of the first, one on. And the pitch from Lemming, this is an actual bunt to Catriona Fisher, the third baseman. She bobbles it. Both runners are safe. Burt at first, Baltzel at second. Ryan Bushman, number 36 for the Warriors, into the batter's box. She's the third batter of the game. And so we'll see what Bushman can do with two on and no outs. This is popped up, won't leave the infield. Infield fly rule called. Bushman is out. Burt and Baltzel remain at second and first base, respectively. Thank you for joining us on Facebook Live tonight. As I mentioned, this is our first presentation of Urbana Girls Summer Softball on Urbana Public Television. The game we were supposed to cover last week rained out. And with rain in the forecast today, we weren't sure if we were going to get this one in. Ultimately, those storms have looked as though they'll hold off until later in the evening. And so optimistic that we can get this one in tonight. There are some clouds above us, but also lots of blue sky. Popped up. This is Claire Huffman in the batter's box. Dropped in right field. This will play to run. Haley Burt's going to come across to score. Baltzel to second base. And Huffman will remain at first. Drives in Haley Burt for the first run of the game. And this pop foul will hit the St. Joe dugout over on the first base side. 0-1. Batter is Mallory Zernecki. Ball one outside. There will be no throw to second or third. The runners advance. So now two in scoring position and one out. Good chance for the Warriors to add to their lead. This is in the dirt. Call the ball. 2-1 count. Batter again, Mallory Zernecki. And foul to the backstop, 2-2. On deck is Taryn Sexton. This is in the dirt. Ball 3, count filled up. Big situation here for Mallory Zernecki with 2 on and 1 out. Likelihood of a double play not high. She'll draw a walk and load the bases for Taryn Sexton. Foul ball from earlier returned to the home plate umpire, and bases are loaded and 1 out for the Warriors, who lead 1-0 in the top of the first inning. Strike 1 to Sexton as the sun through some trees shines down on the field here at Ford Harris Park. Chopped back to second base, bobbled, will score a run. 1 run is all the Warriors will get. That's Olivia Baltzel, who comes home to score. Claire Huffman now at third. Zernecki at second base. Taryn Sexton at first base, and strike 1 to Izzy Scott, number 7 for the Warriors, who now lead 2-0. Time called here by St. Joe. Third base coach will talk to Scott, see how they want to approach this. We resume. Bases loaded, 0-1 count. To first it goes. Throw to the plate will not be in time. 3-0 St. Joe. And nearly caught in a rundown was Zernecki. She gets back to third safely. So it's 3-0 St. Joseph with 1 out in the top of the first. Bases still loaded for Abigail Elder. Ball 1 to Elder. Pitcher again for Urbana is Ava Lemming. Fires strike 1 inside, so it's 1-1 here. Infield playing straight up, that's strike 2 to Elder. Grace Schmitz is on deck.
You can, Abigail, you can.
Pitch from Lemming. High for ball 2, so 2-2 count. And if you're Lemming here, this is where you've just got to bow up and fire in a strike. Still 2 balls to give, but you don't want to walk in a run with the bases loaded. And she'll record a strikeout here, charging home for the plate. Was Zernecki, and since that was strike 3, that's a double play, so Lemming will get out of the top of the first. Bit of a unconventional way to get the second and third out, but she'll take it. And we head to the bottom of the first, about set to see the Urbana bats stride to the plate. It's St. Joe 3, Urbana 0 after a half inning. It'll be Grace Schmitz, Zia Ozudani, and Taylor Wells for St. Joe. In the top of the second, but let's take a look at the starting lineup for Urbana. Ava Lemming will lead off. She is Urbana's pitcher. Then Brindley Pullman and Megan Rucker batting second and third. They are stepsisters. More on that in a moment. Raven Russell bats fourth. Olivia Arroyo batting fifth. Amy Devine batting sixth. Anissa Martinez is behind the plate, bats seventh. Kira Buford batting eighth. Katriana Fisher bats ninth. And Nazira Reed, the designated hitter, rounds out the order. She bats 10th for Urbana. We'll see who's on the mound for St. Joe. They didn't give us positions with their starting lineup, so we'll see if we can get a number. Number 17, that would be Taryn Sexton for St. Joe. Behind the plate looks like number 24, Haley Burt. So Sexton and Burt, the battery for the Warriors. Now, Our Jason Liggett went over to the St. Joe dugout to ask for their nickname prior to the game. He reported back that they said they wanted to go by the Warriors with some hesitation, so we will address them as such, but maybe they want to change their nickname later in the season, and that's fine. Their uniforms just say St. Joseph. And here's Ava Lemming, number 5 for Urbana, their first batter of the game. Pitch from Sexton, and outside strike number 1. One and one to Lemming. Swings and misses at strike 2. On deck, Brinley Pullman. Also some confusion with the Urbana lineup. Pullman's position is listed at 2, which would tell us that she's their catcher, but the catcher for Urbana in actuality is Anissa Martinez. So some doubt as to, or some questions, I should say, as to what positions the Tigers are playing. I'm sure we'll get it straightened out as we move along. Ball to Lemming. Fills up the count at 3-2. Outside ball 4. Lemming draws the walk. And Brinley Pullman will stride in. Number 45 for the Tigers, and on deck her stepsister Megan Rucker. And she'll pop this one up. Playable, it's not. It's over the fence, strike 1. Off the bat, I thought that would stay in the yard. It didn't, just blooped over the shorter wall nearest the third base dugout. This is a high. Ball number 1, check over to first, no throw. Nothing cooking over there. To the backstop. Lemming will take second easily. Rounded second, look for third. Nothing going on there. Burt got to it in time. Now a 2-1 count for Pullman, who will look to plate that run. And here's the pitch. Strike 2, 2-2. Nice pitch from Sexton. Count is back evened up in her favor. And this is taken into the gap between shortstop and third base. Rounding third was Lemming. She'll stay there. So now runners at the corners for Urbana and their 3-hitter Megan Rucker. Rucker number 7 for the Tigers. Her position listed as 1, but she's obviously not the Tigers pitcher. Strike 1, Pullman will take second base. On deck, Raven Russell, the Tigers shortstop. Outside, ball 1. 2 in scoring position for Rucker. Tigers looking to erase a 3-0 deficit. Ball 2 to Rucker. Good chance to do that here in the bottom of the first. Just joining us, we're live from Ford Harris Park, just outside of Urbana, Illinois. Rucker takes this into right center. It's caught. Tagging is Lemming. Throw will go back inside the pitcher's circle. And it's 3-1. The Tigers cut into the deficit. Pullman stays at second base. And Russell, the Tigers shortstop. Russell, for the Urbana High School team, missed the first part of the year with a foot injury. When she came back, she was one of the Tigers' best pitchers. Granted, they only had 3. but she'll only be a junior next year. And you know the Tigers are happy to hear that because she's a very talented pitcher when she throws. Bloops this one to second base for out number 2. Brings up Olivia Arroyo. And Arroyo will be a sophomore at Urbana High School this season. Oftentimes catches or plays center field for the Tigers. Swings and misses for a strike. I mean, what else would happen if you swing and miss? But a strike. Burnley Pullman on second base. High for ball 2, and on deck, Amy Devine. Swing and a miss, dropped behind the plate. Pullman will take third easily, no throw. So a 2-2 count with 2 outs in the bottom of the first. Tigers down 3-1 with a runner at third. Big chance for Olivia Arroyo. High and outside, ball 3. So the count is full. Runner at third and 2 outs. Sexton versus Arroyo, high and outside, ball 4. Now runners at the corners for Amy Devine. Swings and misses at strike 1. Devine, number 27 for the Tigers. Outside for a ball. Big situation here. Obviously, runners at the corners and 2 outs. Tying run at first. Go ahead run at the plate. Strike 2. In the sport of softball, this is more fast-paced than baseball, so it's not too early to be thinking about the tying and go-ahead runs, since this is fouled right back to the backstop. Still 1-2. And the 1-2 on the way, outside, ball 2. Solid job there to not chase that outside ball. Sitting with 2 strikes, you want that. You want to chase it, but she held off. Now fouls this one over the backstop. Still strike 2, 2-2. Bloop single easily scores that runner from third. Runner from first, much harder to score. But you figure a ball in the gap could do just that. This is popped up, won't leave the infield. And it's almost dropped. Miscommunication out there between Sexton and Olivia Baltzel, the third baseman. But the play is made for the third out. So the Tigers strand 2. Going to the top of the second, it's St. Joe 3, Urbana 1, live from Fort Harris Park, just outside of Urbana, Illinois. Tiger softball on UPTV. Due up for the Warriors, it's Grace Schmitz, Z Ozudane, and Taylor Wells. And regarding Z Ozudane, I'm told they just call her Z. They don't bother with her first name or last name. She's just Z in that Warriors dugout, so we will address her as such, number 16 for St. Joe. But first, Grace Schmitz, number 0, into the batter's box. Set and ready to go. Ava Lemming back out for another Half inning of work, swing and a miss, strike one. Schmidt's actually 00, her number on the back of her jersey. No numerical difference, but wears 2 zeros instead of 1. This is the first of a doubleheader tonight on Urbana Public Television, weather permitting. A 10 and under game to follow at 8 o'clock. Oh, yeah, that was fouled right back to the backstop. Just a little under that. As this skips back to the backstop. Count 1 and 2. Foul at the backstop, still 1 and 2. Z on deck, then Taylor Wells, Madison Stevens, and Allison Kearney, and then the order flips over to Haley Burt. Foul to the first base dugouts, still 1 and 2. A nice job from Schmitz to battle a little bit here. Ball 2, 2 and 2, works the count and the pitch count of Lemming. Ball 3, high and tight. Count is full at 3 and 2, so a nice job from Schmitz to go from 1 and 2 to 3 and 2 now. Count full. Full count offering. Swing, chopped right in front of the plate. Lemming will come chase it, throw to first, skips past first base and Megan Rucker. And holding it first is Schmitz, so now 1 on for Z, number 16 for St. Joe. Sun is retreated back behind the cloud. Z swings and misses. Taking off for second is Schmitz. She's safe. Stolen base for Grace Schmitz. Puts a runner in scoring position for Z. Taylor Wells on deck. 0-1 is our count. But with no outs, you've got to figure the Spartans, rather the Warriors, are pretty happy to be in this situation. 0-2. The Spartans, obviously, St. Joseph Ogden High School, their mascot. Same colors for this St. Joe 16 and under softball game or team. Foul to the backstop. Count holds steady. In the dirt, 2-2. Rather, 1-2. And the pitch is in the dirt now, 2-2 our count. And this is hit hard into center field. Going back, it's over the head of Olivia Arroyo. That'll plate Schmitz. Staying at second is Z. She's got an RBI double. That was just smacked into center field. Not much Arroyo could do there. That was a hard hit ball that has now put St. Joe in the driver's seat with a 4-1 lead. Inside, ball 1, our next batter is Taylor Wells. Want to know outside now, 2-0. Z at second base, Madison Stevens on deck for the Warriors. Lemming low and inside, ball 3. First base is open, and that would set up a fourth at third base for the bottom of the Warriors' order. If the Tigers want to go that direction, swing and a miss from Wells is strike one, so we'll see. The 3-1. Ball four low. Puts Wells at second base with Madison Stevens set to enter the batter's box. Allison Kearney on deck. Then the order flips over. Strike one to Stevens. Strike two to Stevens. Very loud strike call from our home plate umpire tonight. He is emphatic with these strikes. That's what you like to see. Strike three. There we go. And there's the punch out. How about that? Strike three. Stevens goes down on strikes. First strikeout of the game for Lemming on the mound for Urbana. And Allison Kearney into the batter's box, fouls this one down the first base line. So Kearney behind 0-1. Chopped to the backstop. Nothing cooking there. Thrown back to Lemming from Anissa Martinez, who will be a sophomore at Urbana High School this coming school year in August. Martinez, a nice job blocking that one. Runners will hold at first and second. Big situation for Kearney. Takes this one back to second base. Fielded by Pullman, throw to Rucker in time. 2 outs with 2 in scoring position and a 4-1 lead for Haley Burt. Burt, a single back in the first inning, later came around to score. She's 1 for 1. In the dirt to the backstop. It's 0-1. Or, want to know, this is ball 2 in the dirt. So 2-0 to Burt. Olivia Baltel on deck. Also singled 1 inning ago, so this is a situation where you want your top of the order due up. 3-0 to Haley Burt. And ball 4. 4 balls in a row from Lemming. Burt takes first, and the base is loaded for Olivia Baltel. 1 inning ago, a single and a run. 1 for 1, looking to build on that and build on to the Warriors' 4-1 lead, taken foul over the first base dugout and out of play. Strike 2, so a big situation for Lemming here. Can she escape? Tightrope out of danger and protect the 4-1 deficit. I guess damage control is the apt way to describe it. But you've got to be thinking you hold this here, and you're in a much better spot entering the bottom half of the second and beyond. Swing and a miss. Baltel down on strikes. Tigers pitch out of a jam. Nice job from Lemming. As the Warriors strand the bases loaded, and we go to the bottom half of the second. Still St. Joe 4, Urbana 1. Tigers softball on Urbana Public Television. Ryan Bushman, Claire Huffman, and Mallory Zernecki due up for the Warriors in the third. 2 strikeouts in that frame from Lemming, Madison Stevens, and Olivia Baltzel. Retired with the punch out for the first and third outs, respectively. And due up for Urbana, Anissa Martinez, Kyra Buford, and Catriona Fisher. Earlier I said that the Madison Stevens strikeout was the first strikeout of the game for Lemming. I was wrong. I had forgotten that strikeout that ultimately ended the first inning. Abigail Elder down on strikes, and then the Zarnecki tagged out coming home. So 3 strikeouts for Lemming, and now the catcher, Anissa Martinez, takes a high ball 1. Martinez, the Tigers' full-time catcher, will be a sophomore at Urbana High School this coming August. Fellow sophomore to follow in Kyra Buford. 3-0 now to Martinez. Buford on deck. Just joining us, it's the bottom half of the second inning. Tigers looking to escape a 4-1 deficit. Strike 1 right on the outside part of the plate for Martinez. Anissa Martinez still ahead in the count. Swing and a miss, that's strike 2. So now the count full. No outs. Leadoff batter of the bottom half of the second. Swing and a miss. Nice job from Taryn Sexton to battle back. Was behind 3-1 in the count. Hung in there. And Martinez down on strikes. Now it's Kyra Buford in for the Tigers with 1 out. Takes strike 1. Strike 2 now to Buford. Catriona Fisher on deck. And this is fouled to the first base side. Swing and a miss, drop third strike. Throw over to first is in time. And Buford down on the strikeout, so 2 up and 2 down, both on strikes. Taryn Sexton's got it going here in the bottom half of the frame. Catriona Fisher due up for Urbana with 2 outs, looking to avoid an out and avoid being the 3rd consecutive strikeout victim for Taryn Sexton. As Ira Reed, the designated hitter for the Tigers, is on deck. And Fisher looks at a high, ball number 1. Swing and a miss from Fisher. Count is 2-1. Ball 2, or rather, ball 3, 3-1. I mentioned Reed on deck, then it flips over to the top of the order. Ava Lemming and Brinley Pullman. On a rope to short. Gloved throw over to first in time. And that's the third out for the Tigers. They go down 1-2-3 in the bottom half of the second. So entering the third inning here at Fort Harris Park. St. Joe still ahead 4-1. Tiger softball on UPTV. Live from Fort Harris Park. And what a beautiful facility this is for some softball on a night in mid-June. Wonderful concession stand. Wonderful concession stand, just nicely maintained field, well shaded by the trees over our heads here. This is quite the place for softball, and in fact, this field, I believe, was just renovated a few months ago. Urbana Summer Softball received a grant, $50,000 I think it was, and they were able to come out and clean the place up and give it some renovations, touch it up a little bit. Really turned out well. Excited to do more games here this summer. Doubleheader tonight, 10 and under squads, I believe from Urbana, of course, and St. Joe again, set to do battle after this game, weather permitting. Ryan Bushman is the batter. As I've been talking about the field, she's been fouling pitches off. It's 2-2. She's worked the count a little bit. Ball 3, full count. On a rope to center field, it'll fall. Bushman at first. And a leadoff single. There have been some defensive adjustments for the Tigers here. Olivia Arroyo is now at second base. Raven Russell warming up. Her arm, I would assume, to pitch over behind the concession stand. So we'll see how much longer Lemming goes. As Bushman now at second base for Claire Huffman. Huffman scored a run in the first inning. She's behind 0-1 here. In the dirt. Throw to third's a good throw, a little wide. And Ryan Bushman now at third base with no outs and a 1-1 count for Claire Huffman. Lined into the outfield. Will plate Bushman, and Claire Huffman has an RBI single. St. Joe goes up 5-1. Mallory Zernecki into the batter's box, fouls the first pitch off over the first base dugout. Remember, she was tagged out, heading for the plate on the drop third strike. And Abigail Elder is at bat.
I was like in Urbana. I thought it was.
Throw to second base. The throw was in time. Tag was not. And Claire Huffman swipes second base. Ball to Huffman. Strike two. Hear that call from a few blocks away, I tell you. Getting into it is our umpire. Inside for a ball. And I tell you, I do some umpiring myself, and that's what you like to see. The players get into that. They respond to that. If the umpires are having a good time, everyone's having a good time. Zarnecki draws a walk. Taryn Sexton into the batter's box, reached second base last inning before the Spartans left her stranded there. She'll square up to bunt, drops it down, foul behind the plate. Sexton with runners at first and second. Grounds this one to short. Throw across the diamond to first is in time. Huffman rounded third, ultimately decided to stay there. Wise decision. And Sexton grounds out on the 4-3. Brings up Scott. Izzy Scott reached base in the first inning, 1 for 1. Takes ball one low with 2 in scoring position, 1 out, and a 5-1 lead. Scott squared up to bunt. Pitch was low, but they say she went around. 1-1. Abigail Elder on deck. Grounded right back to Lemming inside the pitcher's circle. Coming home to score, Claire Huffman. Advancing to third, Mallory Zarnecki. So now 2 outs. And I think St. Joe in that spot, very willing to trade an out for a run. 1-3, but it functions somewhat as just a sack bunt. Plate that run. And add to their 6-1 lead. It's Abigail Elder at the plate. Inside for a ball. Grace Schmitz on deck. High for ball 3, 3-0. And inside, puts runners at the corners, doesn't quite load the bases for Grace Schmitz. Schmitz 1 for 1, scored a run in the second inning. Was the 4th run of the game to score for the Warriors. Pops this one foul. Into a tree, out of a tree, and into the parking lot. Tucked behind the first base dugout, the parking lot here at Fort Harris Park. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. That's the 3rd out of the top of the 3rd. So the Warriors plate 2. It's now 6-1. Entering the bottom half of the 3rd inning. Quick check of my Apple Watch that I got a few weeks ago. I have met all of my exercise goals for the day. Well, I don't know what triggered it to go off just now, since I've been sitting down for the last half hour, but I've maybe apparently earlier I reached my exercise goals, so that's a positive. Give you the stats. according to my watch. I've burned about 560 calories today, exercised for 39 minutes, and I've stood for at least 1 minute for the last 12 hours. And it only wants me to burn 450 calories a day. I usually go over that. Total steps, 15,115. Total distance moved, it's about 7 3/4 of a mile, 7.73 miles. 5 flights of stairs climbed today. My heart rate peaked at about 152 just after noon. Bottomed out at 74 today, about 8 o'clock in the morning. Strike one, our batter for Urbana is Nazira Reed, the designated hitter for the Tigers. Right back past the pitcher's mound. It'll be a tough play at third. Reed is safe at first. Throw goes past the first baseman. It's recovered quickly enough to where Reed will hold at first with Corin Kloster in for the Tigers. Corin's first at bat of the game. It was in the dirt, called a strike. Not sure about that one, but 0-1.
I got to get there early so you don't eat all them spare ribs.
And Kloster fouled off the backstop. 0-2. Why was I so active today? Well, I am a sports camp counselor for the Urbana Park District. Kloster strikes out. Reed takes second, gets past to the backstop. So that'll be the first out, but my heart rate peaked during a spirited game of dodgeball with the kids right after lunch, so we were all energized and ready to roll. This is caught in center field. Throw back to second. There's no one on second base. Reed came close to getting doubled off there. A well-hit ball from Lemming. Brindley Pullman now in for the Tigers, reached third base back in the first inning. Was stranded there. Ball one outside. Megan Rucker on deck. Rucker has the lone RBI of the game for the Tigers, who trail 6-1 here in the bottom half of the third. Popped up over our heads and into the parking lot. Pullman, this is fouled away. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Brindley. Stepsister Megan Rucker on deck. Pullman wearing number 45. Taryn Sexton, 17 on the mound for the Spartans. Poked into right field. Reed will hold at third. Wise decision. I was watching that. I don't think it was deep enough. It would not have given Reed a very good chance to score had she rounded third and charged home. So Pullman at first, Reed at third, Megan Rucker on deck, 2 outs for the Tigers. Big situation here as they look to cut into the Warriors' lead. Pullman will take second, gives Rucker 2 in scoring position with 2 outs. Swing and a miss. On deck would be Raven Russell. Russell 0 for 1 on the day. No official at-bats for Rucker. Has that sac fly. Chops one to third. It's bobbled. Tough play. Rucker will get to first safely. Pullman to third. She is going to be out at third. But prior to the out, Nazira Reed came home to score. making our score 6-2 as we approach the fourth inning. Tigers at least get one there. Pullman a little slow to get up over at third base. Helped off by Emily Warner, but under her own power. Looks like she'll be okay. An aggressive move. Make no mistake to try and swipe third there. She got a bit of a late jump, and that's what set St. Joe up to make the play. But with that said, the Tigers do get a run on that, as Ira Reed. And heading into the fourth inning, 6-2. Still favoring St. Joe. And Raven Russell will indeed come in to pitch, starting with the top of the fourth for Urbana. And Russell will also lead off the bottom half of the fourth. But I was mentioning earlier, Raven Russell, one of the better pitchers the Tigers high school team has, when healthy. Missed the first part of the high school season with a foot injury sustained during basketball season. No one on the Tiger softball team was happy to see that, and it showed in the start they got off to. The high school team, I think, started out 1-8 or just something. I know it was like 1-8, 1-9. Some really poor start, which surprised a lot of people because people thought that the Tigers high school team would have been a lot better last season. They did ultimately finish the season just a few games under 500. I turned it on about mid-April. But not the season they were looking for. Drop third strike. Throw to first is going to be dropped at first. Not the play the Tigers were looking for. There you go from having a strikeout to a runner on first base. Never good. And that was Z Zudane, who has probably the hardest hit ball of the game at first base now. Remember that double she had in the second inning. Ball 1 to Wells. And how Russell pitches, she throws hard. Oh, we've got Thunder in the area. You want to talk about a curveball to throw in a baseball softball reference. Umpire says he heard Thunder. And so the team's off the field. Give you a rundown of where we're at with this weather delay. It's the top of the fourth inning. St. Joe up 6-2. St. Joe scored 3 runs in the first inning. The Tigers answered back with a run of their own. And then one more run in the second inning for the Warriors. And 2 more in the third. Tigers did answer with a run of their own in the third inning. Top of the fourth inning, St. Joe up now. Taylor Wells is the batter. Raven Russell is the pitcher. Teams called off the field for Thunder here at Ford Harris Park. Behind our camera, Jason Liggett, I am Joey Wright. This the first presentation of Urbana Girls Summer Softball that we have brought you on Urbana Public Television. And also probably the first weather delay we've had in a game since I was a freshman in high school. Yeah. So the teams in this league, when a thunder or weather delay is called, 30-minute wait between claps of thunder, so we will take a break. We hope to bring you the conclusion of this game on Urbana Public Television live on Facebook. terrestrially on Urbana Public Television and on YouTube as well. Weather permitting, we will do that. But we will take a break on Urbana Public Television. St. Joe currently leading Urbana 6-2, top of the fourth inning. Tiger softball on UP TV. Back now at Ford Harris Park. Our weather delay has concluded. Some thunder still present in the area, not much threat of rain. And as such, the umpires have made the decision to resume play. St. Joe at the plate, top of the fourth. They lead 6-2. Raven Russell is on the mound for Urbana. And the batter for the Spartans is Taylor Wells. Thank you. Wells just fouled the ball off. Looks like, I don't know if that hit her or what. A little shaken up, but she'll step back into the batter's box. And Wells, strike two. That was actually strike three. Apologies, folks. We're just settling back in. That was the Thunder delay was supposed to be 30 minutes. The umpires decided to resume the game before that window expired, and even though there is still some thunder in the area, and in fact some light rain too. Two strikeouts in a row for Russell. Taylor Wells, Madison Stevens both down on strikes, and Allison Kearney 0 for 1 in for her second at-bat. Pokes one foul into the parking lot. She hit a foul ball like that in the second inning before grounding out to second base. Swing and a miss, strike two. And Raven Russell, hard thrower, best pitcher on the Urbana High School staff. 0-2. Chopped foul. Martinez will glove it back to Russell, still 0-2. If Russell can get 3 strikeouts in a row here, that's the jolt of energy the Tigers need, especially coming out of about a 15-minute thunder delay. You want to come out of that break with the upper hand. Kearney strikes out. 3 up, 3 down out of the delay. Going to the bottom of the fourth, Tigers due up. They trail 6-2, but with the momentum on their side. Tiger softball back on UP TV. And if you're watching this at home on Urbana Public Television, on YouTube, on the UPTV channel, that wasn't very difficult for you. If you're watching on Facebook Live, of course, thank you for making the jump to a new stream. When we heard that they were calling a delay, we decided to stop our old stream and start a new one. Right now, looks like 1 viewer, so thanks to our 1 viewer who has found us again. This is the first of 2 games that we will cover tonight. Our next game, a 10 and under matchup, still Urbana and St. Joe. Coming up at about 8 o'clock. We'll see if we get that one in on time. Right now, 7:17 in Urbana. Set and ready for the bottom of the fourth. Tomorrow night, it's the Brown 14 and under team. Tomorrow night also is a doubleheader. Russell 10 and under versus Ogden at 6 o'clock. And then Brown 14 and under versus St. Joe at 8 o'clock. So join us tomorrow night Live on Facebook, Urbana Public Television, a doubleheader. More Urbana Girls Summer Softball on UPTV. Raven Russell, after getting those 3 big outs, grounds out to short for the first out of the bottom half of the 4th. Tigers still down 6-2. And with 1 out, Olivia Arroyo, 0 for 1, will try and get into the hit column. Popped meekly back to the backstop. 0 and 1. More thunder as Arroyo grounds out to second base. A look at the radar, though, would indicate that the rain is going to move north. Not a very high chance of precipitation at all from now until 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night. So we move forth. More thunder as this is fouled to the backstop. Amy Devine. Devine 0 for 1. Skips to the catcher, 1 and 1. Anissa Martinez, Tigers catcher on deck. 2 outs, bottom of the 4th. And Devine bloops one to second base. Gloved, flip over to first in time. 3 up, 3 down go the Tigers in the bottom half of the 4th. Still 6-2 entering the top of the 5th. Tigers need runs, but first they need a stop. And we will see Raven Russell back out to the circle. In the 5th inning on the Tigers Media Network, a strike of lightning behind center field. And off the field will go. Looks like another weather delay forthcoming, but credit to the umpires who got the teams back out. We at least advanced in our game a little bit. It's like renting a movie that's got a little scratch in it. You can watch a little bit of it, and then it stops, and as we hear a big clap of thunder behind us, you watch a little, and it stops, and you're like, all right, and then it goes again, and you're like, all right, I think it's good, and then stops again. The real concern for me is tomorrow night. I think we can get these games in if we wait long enough. But tomorrow night is when the weather really looks rough, and that's where my question is regarding tomorrow night. I assume we'll take a break in our coverage here and rejoin this ball game when we ultimately resume again. We are under delay. A lightning strike spotted just behind center field. Well, not just behind center field, but in the sky behind center field just a few moments ago. We're in the top of the 5th inning. It's St. Joe 6, Urbana 2. St. Joe due up to hit when we come back, weather permitting, on Urbana Public Television. Third time's the charm. Let's try this again. We're back live from Ford Harris Park, just outside of Urbana, Illinois, set for the top of the 5th inning. St. Joe and Urbana our matchup tonight. Urbana's Warner 16 and under team, currently trailing St. Joe 6-2. Coming out of our second weather delay, we had one in the 4th inning, came out of it, finished the 4th inning, and now set to start the top of the 5th out of our second delay. On the mound for Urbana, Raven Russell. Russell has pitched well for the Tigers thus far. In fact, struck out all 3 batters she faced after the delay in the top of the 4th inning. Batter for St. Joseph will be Haley Burt, the leadoff batter in their order. 1 for 1, singled in the 1st inning, walked in the 2nd. Leads off the fifth just as she led off the first. Olivia Baltel on deck. Strike one, and man, our home plate umpire tonight, very emphatic with his strike calls. 1 and 2 to Burt. Now ball 2, 2 and 2. Big thanks to all of our viewers on Urbana Public Television Facebook Live right now. Looks like 2 viewers watching our stream live. We appreciate it, especially after 2 weather delays of about 15 minutes each. And Burt strikes out. The 4th batter, Raven Russell, has retired in a row. Tigers looking to battle back from a 6-2 deficit. 4 strikeouts in a row is a good way to hold the offense at bay here as Olivia Baltel strides in. 1 for 2, struck out in the second inning, singled in the first. Inside, strike 1. Doubleheader tonight. Coming up after the conclusion of our 16 and under matchup, a 10 and under matchup, Urbana and guess who? St. Joe. Coming up after the conclusion of this game, a bunt from Baltel, throw to first in time, 2 away. Brinley Pullman, throw was a little high. She did a nice job keeping her foot on the base and coming down with it. 2 outs. Ryan Bushman scored in the 3rd inning. Hit into an infield fly rule in the first, swings and misses, strike number 1. Tomorrow, a doubleheader on UPTV as well. Swing and a miss. Weather permitting, though. We have games scheduled for 6 and 8 o'clock live on Facebook tomorrow night. Severe weather, or I guess just weather in the forecast. Maybe severe, hope not, but hoping to get those games in. We'll see. Bushman at the plate. Claire Huffman is on deck. She's 2 for 2. Lights have come on at Ford Harris Park this game. Approaching its 3rd hour. Game started at about 6 o'clock, now 7:52. Two strikes to Bushman. She'll strike out, and that's the inning. So 1, 2, 3 go the Spartans in the 5th. 2 strikeouts from Russell, Haley Burt, and Ryan Bushman, both down via the punch-out. And we'll go to the bottom of the 5th. Tigers still trail 6-2. This is Urbana Girls Summer Softball on Urbana Public Television. Jason Liggett behind our camera tonight. I'm Joey Wright, flying solo, bringing you the action on what has, it's a beautiful night here at Fort Harris Park, just outside of Urbana, Illinois. If you take away the thunder and the lightning and the threat of rain that is ever increasing as we move later into the night. And this is where I get to play meteorologist. 15% chance of rain, as per the good folks at the Weather Channel, through about midnight tonight. And that picks up about 1 in the morning, but I hope we're not out here at 1 in the morning tonight. You never know at this rate. Batter for Urbana leading off the bottom of the 5th is Anissa Martinez. Kyra Buford and Katriana Fisher due up as well. Martinez behind now 0-2. And yeah, the threat of rain not very substantial at this point, but you know, you get a pop-up shower, you lose the field. So it's we're gonna be right on that line, I think. Martinez strikes out, her second strikeout of the game, and it's Kyra Buford, Urbana's left fielder, and she's 0 for 1 with a strikeout. Strike to Buford. Ball 1 to Buford. I'm not sure if they play 6 or 7 innings in this league. I would assume 7 as well, yes, so 7. Yep. Swing and a miss from Buford, strike 2. So same rules as we would see in the IHSA, 7 innings in the bottom of the 5th right now. High for a ball to Buford. With Fisher on deck, and Desira Reed is the designated hitter in the hole right now. And Buford will draw the walk. Brings up Fisher with 1 out and 1 on. First base coach for the Tigers is Aaron Wright. Emily Warner, the Tigers head coach, coaching third this evening. Fisher will be a senior at Urbana High School this August. Takes ball 1. Reed on deck, and then it's Closter, and the order flips over. 2-1 to Fisher. And Fisher will hit left center field. It'll fall into the gap. Chugging for third is Buford. She's safe. Fisher's in at second base, so now 2 in scoring position with 1 out for Nazira Reed. And Reed 1 for 1, scored in the 3rd inning. Big opportunity here. Tigers trailing 6-2, bottom of the 5th. Game right now in the hands of Nazira Reed with 1 out. And if she can just get on base, you're looking at bases loaded, 1 out. Pretty good spot to be in. Swing and a miss for a strike there. Bounces in front of the plate for a ball. Still on the mound for St. Joe, Taryn Sexton. Behind the plate is Haley Burt. Grounded to foul, first base dugout. Inside for a ball. Runners will hold. Ball got past Burt, but she'll flip it back to the pitcher in the circle. 3-2, the count is full with 1 out. Chopped foul, we'll do it again. On deck, Corinne Closter. Pitch, that's going to be ball 4, so the bases are loaded with 1 out for Corinne Closter. Number 36 for the Tigers, nice blue bat. blue helmet. High and outside, ball 1. And if she can just avoid the double play, I mean, ideally get on base, of course, but you just avoid the double play here, you're looking at the top of the order. 2 outs. Pretty good spot to be in for the Tigers here. Down 6-2. Bottom 5. Not too many more chances to score. Two and 1. And after all the delays we've had, we deserve a good game. We deserve a compelling matchup to watch, as this is low and inside. 3-1 the count. This is where, if you are Taryn Sexton, you've got to keep your composure and fire a strike. And she does just such there. Full count, 3-2. Not an overstatement to say the game rides on what happens in the rest of this half inning. In there for strike 3. Kloster strikes out. Big strikeout there for Sexton. You go from behind in the count 3-1 to getting that punch out. That's big. That's big on the mound. Does good things for your confidence. Ava Lemming back in for the Tigers. Scored in the first inning. Flew out to center field in the third. 1 for 2. Back for more. 1-1. A little low. Both of the Tigers' outs this frame have come via the punch out. Martinez and Kloster both struck out. Lemming looking to get on base here outside. 2-1. On deck, Brindley Pullman. 2 for 2, and has been left stranded on third base twice. Grounded to short. And we're going to have runners interference for the third out. Catriona Fisher called for interference. I think that's the right call. Well, the umpire is going to talk about it here. Fisher has some questions. I think that's the right call. I don't think there's anything you can do about that if you're Fisher, though. Yeah. Well, we'll see what the umpires say. The grounder went to the shortstop, and it was just right in the line of Fisher. Ball, runner, and fielder all arrived at the same time. Nothing you can do if you're the fielder or the runner. The rule states that the runner should yield. But yeah, I don't think that the way that developed, she didn't have any time to move. So tough out there, tough way to end the inning. Tigers will leave the bases loaded in the bottom of the fifth. Still 6-2, favoring St. Joseph. Headed to the sixth on Urbana Public Television. Head over to the Urbana Public Television YouTube channel to check out an Urbana School Board meeting so exciting it was not suitable for live television. Yeah, the drama. Oh, it was. Well, so what happened was a cable broke, and that's why it wasn't aired live. But yeah, it was. I have no doubt it was pretty spicy. Yeah, it was. Oh man. Foul ball. What are Don Owen and the gang up to this time? Man. So we're in the top of the sixth. St. Joseph back in to hit. They lead 6-2. And it was really a 3-run first inning is what has done Urbana into this point. They just haven't been able to climb out of that hole. Claire Huffman is in the batter's box for St. Joe. 2 strikes now. Raven Russell on the mound for Urbana. High and outside, ball 1. Ball 2, check that, 2-2. No scoreboard out here at Fort Harris Park. Well, there is a scoreboard, but it's not on. Ball 3, count now full. And fouled off the... That took a weird hop off the backstop and over into where some spectators are located, behind or right next to the first base dugout. We'll do it again, count still full. Swing and a miss. Down on strikes goes Claire Huffman. That's 6 of the last 7 batters down on strikes. Raven Russell, a special performance tonight. 7 batters retired in a row. Olivia Baltzel grounded out to Raven, 1-3. So Raven has directly had a hand in the last 7 outs. Pretty impressive. Swing and a miss to Mallory Zernecki. And Zernecki down on strikes. 8 of the last 9 outs. 8 of the last 9 batters have struck out. Well, 7 out of the last 8, my bad. Doesn't make it any less impressive. Strike 1. New batter is Terrence Sexton, pitcher for St. Joe. One and one. Strike 2. So 1 ball, 2 strikes to Sexton. Izzy Scott on deck. And down goes Sexton. That's 8 out of the last 9 outs have come via the punch out. 9 batters retired in a row. And we'll see if the Tigers can get it going on offense in the bottom half of the 6th. St. Joe 6, Urbana 2. Headed to the bottom of the 6th on UPTV. Brindley Pullman, Megan Rucker, Raven Russell, the 3 due up for Urbana. Sun setting now in Urbana, Central Illinois. One more game to bring you on Urbana Public Television tonight. 10 and under action. Urbana and St. Joe the matchups, so stay tuned. That's, I would imagine we'll start about 10-15 minutes after this game ends. Other thanks to our viewers watching live on Facebook tonight. Have stuck with us through not 1 but 2 weather delays. Six to 2 favoring St. Joe, headed to the bottom of the 6th. And it's Brindley Pullman. 2, 3, 4 hitters for the Tigers. It's the part of the order you want up in a situation like this, needing 4 runs late in the game. Swing and a miss. Well, actually, I think Pullman got a little bit of that. Two and one. Ball is high and outside. 3-1 to Pullman. Rucker on deck. Painting the black with strike two, full count. Outside ball four. Pullman draws a walk. Megan Rucker to the plate. Raven Russell on deck. Brindley going into 8th grade, and Megan will be a senior in high school at UHS this fall. Grounds one to second. Tag applied to Brindley. Between first and second, safe at first is Megan. So, runner at first and one out for Raven Russell. Now, Raven's sister is also on the team, but she's not here tonight. She is partaking in a volleyball tournament down in Florida right now. So, best of luck to their squad. Florida sounds nice this time of year. It's probably cooler over in Florida than it has been here this past week. And Russell will be safe. She hit that hard to third, such that the third baseman couldn't field it cleanly. Hustles on down to first, and she is safe. So Russell at first, Rucker at second. Olivia Arroyo into the batter's box. She is 0 for 2 tonight, looking to turn that around with the tying run on deck. Pitch from Sexton is outside. Ball one. Amy Devine on deck for the Tigers, 0 for 2 as well. High for ball two. High for ball three. 3-0 count to Arroyo. Not a bad spot to be in. Inside, strike one. That strike zone widens when you got 2 or 3 balls. I've noticed a few of these inside-outside pitches called in favor of the hitter, and now full count. Sexton has battled back again. We've seen her do this a few times where you go from having a count, like say 3-1. Now full count. Ball four, Arroyo will walk to first. So a big situation here for Amy Devine, rather Devine. Full count, or rather full bases are loaded. One out. Ball one. Gets past the catcher. Coming home is Rucker. And coming home as well as Russell. To third goes Arroyo. It's 6-4. Ball got past the catcher. Burt couldn't catch it from Sexton, and now a meeting on the mound. So the ball got past Burt. Megan decided to charge home. She scored. And then in the confusion, Raven Russell came home to score as well. And just like that, it's 6-4. Now a runner at third for Amy Devine. So Olivia Arroyo, our runner at third. Amy Devine at the plate. 0 for 2 on deck is Anissa Martinez. One out, and that was Burnley Pullman, who was tagged out between first and second after singling. And here's Devine. Ball one, gets past Burt, and Arroyo looked at it. I think Burt would have made that play, and Sexton as well. So it's 0-1, I think. I think that was called a strike, but it was close. Ball in the dirt. 3-0. In fact, no, it was no strike. It was a ball. And here's Devine. Runner at third, 3-0 count. Ball four is high. She'll draw a walk. First time she's been on base tonight. Puts runners at the corners with the go-ahead run. Now stepping to the plate, Anissa Martinez. Martinez 0 for 2 has struck out twice tonight. Swing and a miss from Martinez. 0-1. The 0-1. Outside. And Martinez chased at it for strike two. If there weren't two strikes, I might even try a squeeze play. High, ball one. Devine get a little jump over there at first. Stays put. Still runners at the corners. Now 6-4 is our score. One out, bottom six. Pitch to Martinez is swung on and missed. Her third strikeout of the evening. Brings up Kyra Buford, who was 1 for 2. Struck out in the second. Stranded at third. In the fifth inning, strike one to Buford. Ball one. Buford kicked off that sequence of events in the fifth inning that saw the Tigers strand the bases loaded on that runner's interference play. Strike two outside. And now if you're a hitter, you've got to be thinking, I'm not going to get that call. I mean, we've seen that outside strike and inside strike called quite a bit. Ball two there. So if I'm Buford, even I chase that because I know I'm not getting that call. 2-2. Runners at the corners. Buford up the middle will score a run. Devine to second, and Buford at first with an RBI single. It's 6-5. Scoring is Arroyo. At second base now is Devine. Buford is at first, and the batter is Catriona Fisher. Ball one, and knowing Catriona, I know she's going to want to make up for being the third out of the fifth inning, her fault or not. So we're going to have a very motivated Catriona Fisher up here. 1-0 count is in the dirt. Ball two, skipping to the backstop, and the runners will advance into scoring position. Buford to second, Devine to third. First base is open. I wouldn't even be surprised if they walked Fisher just to set up a force anywhere with Nazira Reed due up. Fisher, hard hit. That'll get into left field. Coming home is Devine. Charging home is Buford, and the Tigers take the lead. 7-6. Hard hit ball to short. Shortstop couldn't make the play, right between her legs and the Tigers. To the point, 7-6 lead on what is an RBI double from Fisher. Reed in. Skips past Burt. Throw to third. Will pull the third baseman off the bag, and Fisher is safe there. A 5-run sixth inning. Ball to Reed. 2-0. On deck, Corinne Kloster. Tigers have come out of these weather delays energized, sharp, and ready to pounce. Check swing there. They're going to say that Reed went around, as she most certainly did, 2-1. High, ball 3. Three and 1. Reed foul tips this to the backstop. That's where most foul tips go. Emily Warner is going to come over and just have a little chat with her, shooting the breeze a little, getting things all planned out. Count is now full, 3-2. 7-6 our score as Reed pokes this one foul into the St. Joe dugout. Full count, 2 outs, runner at third, and Zyra Reed the batter. Taryn Sexton the pitcher. Strike 3 to Reed, and the Warriors get out of it. But not before a 5-run sixth inning puts the Tigers ahead and in position to close things out here in the top of the 7th inning. Tigers 7, St. Joseph 6 after 6. And what a game. That's the sport of softball, and it applies to baseball too. Not over until it's over. If there is a strike left, this game's not over. And that applies to St. Joe here too. Now, they're only down 1. We saw the rally that Urbana just put together, so you definitely don't want to discount them. But the Tigers, after trailing for the entirety of the game until about 4 minutes ago, now leading, set to close things out, hopefully in the bottom, rather top of the 7th. And you look at what Raven Russell has done, 9 outs in a row, 8 of them strikeouts. Not far-fetched to think that she could close this game out and give the Tigers the lift over St. Joe. In for the Warriors is Izzy Scott. 1 for 2 on the afternoon, rather the evening, I should say. Started in the afternoon. Now we're going to end this game squarely in the middle of the evening. High for a ball. Tune in tomorrow, another doubleheader, weather permitting. 6 o'clock, we've got the Urbana-Russell 10-and-under team versus Ogden. And then at 8 o'clock, the Brown 14-and-under team versus St. Joe. That's at 8. Tigers softball on UPTV. High for a ball to Scott, 2-2. Doubleheader tonight. Urbana and St. Joe, 10-and-under teams doing battle. Strike 3, Scott down on strikes. First out of the 7th, the Tigers are 2 outs away. Abigail Elder is in. Struck out in the first, drew a walk in the third, 0 for 1. Grace Schmitz would be on deck, and she will be on deck since there's only 1 out. Strike 2. Russell has just been absolutely dealing tonight, folks. 9 of the last 10 batters have been struck out. Swing and a miss, strike 2 to Elder. The 0-2. Right down the middle, strike 3. 10 of the last 11 batters have struck out, and the last hope for St. Joe is Grace Schmitz. Yeah. After a strike, the pitch is low, right to the backstop for ball 1. Pitch from Russell. Swing and a miss. Down to their last strike, St. Joe. It's 1-2. Swing and a miss. Schmitz chases it. It's over. The Tigers with the win over St. Joe tonight. A comeback win, a 5-run 6th inning. Pushes them over the top. And, folks, how about this from Raven Russell? Starting in the 5th. Check that. Go back to the 4th inning, right out of our weather delay. Taylor Wells was the first batter she faced. Struck her out. Another strikeout. Another strikeout. Go to the 5th inning. Strikeout. Got a ground ball right back to her. Threw it to first. Got the out there. Then another strikeout. Go to the 6th. Strikeout, strikeout, strikeout to the 7th. Strikeout, strikeout. And then to end the game, a strikeout. That's our ball game tonight, folks. Urbana with the win over St. Joe. 7-6 our final score. Now stay tuned. More softball coming up on Urbana Public Television tonight. Stay with us live on Facebook. It's Urbana and St. Joe, the 10 and under edition. That'll start in just a few minutes. For Jason Liggett, I'm Joey Wright. Stay with us. More softball coming up.